Women are so easy, and that's the problem. That's our collective problem, and why we cannot progress, why we cannot have equity. Because women, the majority, set the standard of how we deserve to be treated. Women who are educated, who have a lot of resources, who have a great life without a man, they will still choose a man to settle with, to sit down and dim their light just to have a partner. The naivete, getting slapped in the face and missing all the social cues that the man hates you, missing all the social cues of all these people who are disrespecting you and controlling you, using you as a leverage and resource. We've been programmed to take it. That's the problem. We've been conditioned to normalize that this is how things are supposed to be. This is normal. This is where we're starting from. The moment you're born, you've been deprived of love, connection, care, somebody wanting to provide for you with gratitude and loving the fact that you exist. Most women have never experienced that. But if you were born a male, that could have been a huge possibility that your parents would have responded that way. Even parents who claim that they are for women, it's because women never get to see the experience of what it would have been like if they were a male child. Then is constant deprivation, unmet needs, no support or lack of support generally. And I've met women who have told me that they were very much supported. See, I don't believe people. After being in this industry, working with people for 8 years really in the business itself, I stopped believing clients a long time ago. And you may think that's really rude. Why won't you believe? No, I understand the condition, and I understand how people experience it, and how they tell their story is based on what they experience. So if somebody has low standards, they had the most incredible experience compared to someone who has great standards based on her experience, having the same experience, and it would not be it. It would be insulting. So for example, there's this one guy who is a great boyfriend to woman A, is a horrible boyfriend to woman B, and it's not because of personality differences. It's because woman A doesn't know her value, so his little gesture is such a big deal for her. She feels like he's giving her the world when he hasn't really given her anything except for nice words, which she never heard growing up. Whereas woman B has been better provided for, had her needs met, she's had friendships, she had mentors, and this man is not going to fulfill anything. He's not giving her anything extra. He's not making her life better. He's not contributing. There's not much reciprocity. She could take it or leave it, and in fact, he starts to become a liability to her. Same person, different experiences. This is why when you in general say that this is not relevant to you, I don't believe you. Not because I want to be rude to you or I disrespect you, because the first problem we have as women is that our standards are so low. If you think your standards are high, you could make that a lot higher. Because if you weren't born with a vulva, you wouldn't be starting from the standards are this low. You'd be starting a lot higher. And this is irrelevant whether you are a woman who's educated, have been provided for, you come from a good family. We're still oppressed, period. We are still oppressed. And until you can see the oppression from a bird's eye point of view, you don't get to understand. You don't get to have the perspective of how much you've been missing out on, how unfair, truly unfair it's been. Because if it's normal, this is how things are. And if you look around and you see people who are much less fortunate than you, then you have the illusion that you are so much better off. And this just isn't true. I posted the other day on my social media short form of my stories or my TikTok, Instagram, that women's pains are not validated or seen. We are not heard until there is some tragic death. It has to become some kind of story that is going to favor capitalism or pump the media, make money. At the very end, it's going to be a man benefiting from all of that. It's going to be the few select top 1% men. So look at all the movements we have. Right now, we have the tradwife movement by women who are selling the ideology that this is the best option for women. Capitalism is too hard. You're not meant to fight it. Why don't you just go find a man? And your role is the traditional way has always been the better way, because then you don't have to take the burden of doing all the traditional feminine work. Then you also work and provide for your family. You need to have a career, expand your career. It's so much better to be a tradwife. Being sold by women who are working, who are content creators, influencers. These women are hard workers. They're hustlers. These hustlers on social media selling to naive women. Let me repeat, naive women are so easy that following this pathway is going to make them happier. It's going to give them a better outcome in life, when it's just going to oppress them even more. Because if you don't have capitalistic leverage, your whole livelihood and survival depends on that one man that you're serving. We know this. Feminists have been fighting, yet there are women who are so cut off from context, likely from lack of female role models, having been broken by trauma, that they have no ability to believe in themselves. They tried to fight in capitalism and have been losing really badly because they've never been taught how to win. They only know how to serve people, and they don't know how to take leadership. They don't know who they are outside the role of being a sister, daughter, wife, service person, maid, the help. The media, these women are targeting women because women are so easy to live a lifestyle that women have been trying to escape from for thousands of years. For thousands of years. The tradwife influencers, whether we're looking at the most recent example, Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, she's taking the opportunity to now be the leader of the anti-feminist movement. As a feminist, she's a feminist because feminism granted her permission to do everything that she's been doing since the very beginning, to have influence, to make a ton of money, to put herself out there in the marketplace, be a leader, be a speaker, have influence globally. That in itself is feminism and what women have been fighting for. But these are the women who are going out there telling women to sit down beneath their husband's feet, wash his feet, raise his children, and be a good service girl, the wife, the help. Now, this is a contrast to the whole boss babe movement that already came and left. Maybe you experienced that yourself. Maybe you felt very pumped to be the boss babe, the boss girl movement, where you're hustling all the time and all you have to do is become like the white man oppressor, and then your life will be much better. Women who have been conditioned that if you just have money, then all your problems will be solved. And that's not true either. See, both of these ideologies exist to oppress women. They're not here to help women. This is how capitalism and patriarchy checks women to maintain the status quo, to put them in their place. All they care about is that you contribute to the economy and pay big taxes. And once women start to gain a lot of capitalistic leverage from the boss girl movement, oh, it's too much. Now women are refusing to have children. They're realizing the power of money and what it can do for a woman. It's not just about the money, it's the mindset. If you've been programmed that you need a man, then no matter what, you're gonna try to find a man, give yourself away, give your money away, just to have some loser settle with you. just for the sake of having a man. Now, the system counts on you to do that. But when some women, and a lot of women who have capitalistic leverages, are refusing to take in and raise a broke-ass dude, or a dude with no emotional intelligence who is just a walking red flag, women are refusing to do that. And so now their reaction is to get women to become tradwives again. So if you look at trends are there to control people. And women fall for it all the time. I'm talking about majority of the women fall for this to some level. There's some inkling, some motivation. Not long ago, I had this friend, it's very bittersweet, who is very educated. She got really burnt out working and not getting what she deserves, which we address all the time in social elegance training. And if you ask me, why didn't you give her tips or whatnot? It wasn't really my place. I didn't feel like she really respected my opinion because she had her set way of thinking. Unfortunately, a lot of women think that they're very progressive when they are very patriarchal. Just because you went to a university, you have a PhD, or you've accomplished a lot, it doesn't mean that your mindset isn't run by patriarchal programming, like the default condition fueled by internalized misogyny, also white supremacism. She started telling me after 40 that she just didn't want to work anymore. And I could see her becoming really open to this tradwife cult that's happening. It's so prominent right now that even very educated women are in danger of falling into it. What does this also remind me of when I was thinking about this whole concept and putting it into a video for you? A while back, I came across a video on TikTok. I was bewildered. It was some influencer guy, and he was targeting men, I think, because of the way he looked. He looked like a gym bro. And he was saying, my F students are the inventors. He was trying to appeal to failures in life that they are actually wonderful. He was trying to validate their bad habits and bad work ethics and inability to commit. There are reasons why people fail. And instead of addressing any of that, he was validating those people's experiences that they're actually meant for something bigger. So how this goes is that he goes, the A students are the employees because they follow rules. And then B students, whatever. And then I can't remember, but it's not important. And then he goes, F students are the inventors. Now, these people are oppressing you. They want you to be uneducated. They want you to fail. They want you to stay at the bottom, belong to that tier of the worker slave, by telling you that what you're doing is perfectly valid. In fact, why don't you fail a little harder? In fact, completely fail, because you're meant for something bigger. There's some kind of heroism to being a failure. This is happening right now with anti-intellectualism as well. This started happening with the girl boss era, where people are saying, don't go to school, it's stupid. It's in 2015, drop shipping and all of that stuff happening. There was a lot of this chatter that school's useless, don't go to school, anti-intellectualism. The average American's reading level is grade 6. So we have anti-intellectualism that is very global. And we have some people who are world leaders telling everyone that this is stupid, don't do it. College is a place to brainwash you with a horrible woke agenda. The hypocrisy generally is that tradwife influencers are telling women to become tradwives while they are very busy and accomplished working women who are hustling harder than an average man out there. And the ones who are promoting anti-intellectualism are the ones who care the most about what prestigious college or university their children get into. They care a lot about what degree their children will get, while standing on a podium in a room full of people preaching that college doesn't matter is a place where woke people get brainwashed to become a liberal. In the boss girl era, it was more so you're gonna go to college or university, spend tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands depending on what you do, and you are going to make no money, which is not wrong, it's still true to some level. You have to learn to play capitalism. Going to a good college or getting a good degree is not going to guarantee you a good position. It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to have a lucrative career. However, not having anything at all, not being educated, is not the solution to that problem. They always like to bring up, in these pro-oppression arguments, they always like to bring up some tech bro who quit school or dropped out. People love to bring up Zuckerberg, for example. He dropped out of Harvard. That means he got in. Getting in itself, that takes a lot of intellectual capacity. This person is very smart. He didn't just drop out because he just wanted to drop out. He dropped out because he saw huge potential in something else and he needed to make that choice. But people will take these kinds of stories and turn it into some convoluted propaganda to sell oppression to the masses. And of course, we can't forget the dating coaches, influencers who are selling the methodology to get a high value man, which are elements of maybe what they had to do in their sex work career without being transparent and telling women, hey, you're gonna end up in sex work if you behave like this, or that's gonna be the relationship you have with your man. Even if you're doing this to get the one man, you're setting the precedent to have that sex work type of relationship with this man. The hypocrisy, the fight to keep oppression. You see how all of this is tying together? Because I am speaking to women right now, because women are likely the ones going to listen to me. And also we're the most vulnerable because there's oppression and then there's men and then there's women. And obviously there are nuances with how much money you have and how much opportunity you have where you live. But this is happening everywhere. So what is wokeness is that you need to pay attention to how you're being manipulated. If you see a woman influencer telling you that you need to find a way to oppress a man by taking his stuff, getting him to buy you stuff, and that's the way to have a relationship, and that person has millions of followers, realize that she's trying to oppress you. She's trying to teach you the not even teach, coax you into the pathway of minimal struggle, okay? Minimal struggle, what seems to be the painless path. So you fall into a trap of deep oppression where you dig yourself into a hole so deep you can't get out. The path of least resistance. Anti-intellectualism, don't go to school. If you hate your job, just quit and be a boss babe. Oh, that was too much. Now women are becoming too independent because some women have figured this out. Instead, just become tradwives. So if work is too hard because you lack the awareness of how to play the capitalistic game because you were never taught, then just quit your job and become a tradwife. Before, the story was just quit your job and start your business. That's not a solution either. The reason why I came up with the Social Elegance and Power program and why I make these videos and why I have countless videos and training and books that talk about these aspects is because self-development itself is a cult. You read a lot of books and everything sounds good, but so do those influencers. They sound good to a lot of people. I'm asking everyone to have an extra layer of discernment. As business owners or influencers, content creators, if we want to have the easiest pathway to success is to trick everyone with what they want to hear and give them a solution that sounds easy and simple, but ultimately it's going to dig them into a deep hole of oppression. People opt into options that feel easy in the get-go. People do not opt into options that feel more complicated or takes a lot of nuanced thinking from the beginning. People would rather opt into the easier short-term gratification option, and then they're not able to think far ahead, because what is survival mode or the scarcity mindset is that you cannot project what's coming, so that they end up suffering tremendously later. People who are able to do the hard things in the beginning, despite the resistance, we end up building a version of freedom in the long-term results. What did you think of this video? How will you stop being so easy and become more discerning despite the resistance and people who want you to be easy? I would love to know. If you're interested in working with me, go down to the description below to join our Social Elegance program. If you're not quite there in leadership or you're not a seasoned professional yet, then check out the Social Elegance Do-It-Yourself Accelerator. And right now, we also have the Julia Chat AI. You can check that out and ask any social elegance questions there. Check out more resources down below. Thank you for watching. See you soon.